All right, everybody, welcome to the Weekly Buzz. We're excited to have you back on campus. We are coming live today from Jacket Days. And today I've got...
Oh, it's Nando. Hi.
Oh, that is not your normal intro, Nando.
I got you. Yo, it's Big Boricua.
There we go. That's the intro we're all coming to love.
And I'm Didi.
And I'm Chris Knight from the Counseling Center. And I wish I could swing the camera around. We got a packed house today. We're talking all about sleep and stress management. Just by a show of hands or a cheer, how'd you guys sleep last night? Nobody slept great? You mean those what are those mattresses that are about that thick didn't get it done? No?
That's crazy.
All right, so we're going to talk all about sleep today. Sleep is like one of my favorite topics. It is something that I see college students struggle with, and not just college students, adults. I will provide full self-disclosure. I am not a great sleeper. I have struggled with insomnia pretty much my whole life, so this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. And the great news is, as much as we all struggle with sleep at times, it is something that we can make better, right? We might not be able to make it perfect. I wish I could say that I could make it good for myself. Some days, yes. Some days, not so much. But we know that we can make it better by following some simple tricks. So we're going to talk about those today. How big of a problem, though, is sleep among college students, guys?
Very bad. Like, half the time, like, we be playing the game. Let's not lie. We be on the game late night with the boys, you know. But other than that, like, it could be the phone, too. Like,
we'll talk about that. It's some of the barriers, right? Sometimes, the game, those things that distract us, that, get us out of our sleep routine. Absolutely. As an RA, I imagine you see people up all hours of the night.
Yeah, it's kind of sickening.
Do they come to you with sickening?
Yeah, no, I've seen guys, like, stay up to, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they got lift, or I seen guys, like, we have, like, finals week, and, yeah, they're up all night playing the game. Like, how the hell you're, like, processing your exams? Right. And be like, nah, dog, like, this Fortnite grind never stops. What? But that's how I really be, honestly.
Sleep, we know, is really, really important. How many hours of sleep do you normally get per night, Nando?
I'm actually an old man. I like to sleep at 8.
You're hitting the rack by 8 o'clock?
Hell yeah. I'll be tired.
Okay, you are an old man. Even I can get it down a little later than 8. Okay.
Man, of course, I'll be staying up a little late than 8. But, honestly, like, I ate food. I had some Raisin Bran, sir. It's kind of weird. Don't judge me. But
Raisin Bran?
Hell yeah, the crunchy.
Oh, no, you old.
Gotta have the crunchy.
So, like, you're eating before bed?
Hell yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a serious talk about that.
You like old and young at the same time.
I got an old soul. We'll rock with it.
All right. So, on average, though, what would you say how much sleep do you get, Didi, or Nando?
I try to at least get, like, a solid 5.5 hours, more up to 6, honestly.
Okay, 5.5, 6 hours.
That's where I can process. Like, if any less than that, like, it's me being grumpy and me, like, not want to say hi to you. Like, I just want to get through my day.
All right. How about you, Didi? How many hours typically do you think you get?
I don't know. I feel like it depends on the season. Like, if we're in season, probably like, I'm like 4 or 5.
In season, when you need it the most, you know that, right? Like, you need to sleep more when you are in season.
No, we'd be watching film and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I get it.
At 6, so we'd be up at like 5.
It's one of the barriers where you are in season and there's just so many more things to do, and you might have early morning practices, so that I get that can definitely be a barrier to sleep. Just by, again, we'll do some cheers, right? Who gets 9 or more hours of sleep a night on average?
Yeah, 9 hours.
9 hours?
9
More
hours?
than 9 hours? 9 hours?
No, like the crowd
I
kind
wish. I wish. Oh, I didn't sleep like you.
You on God? Bro? I'm trying to get like you on God.
I don't know if you guys can hear it out there, but yeah, that was almost silence. I could almost hear the crickets. All right, who gets about 8 hours of sleep on average?
What?
Okay, you got some heads rolling, nodding.
Okay.
All right. So speak up, like, give me a cheer or clap of hands or something. Who gets at least 7 hours of sleep a night?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're kind of in the zone. How about six or about 6 hours of sleep?
It's kind of scary.
Now,
nobody raising that. Someone.
Boy, y'all get less sleep than we do.
Still, like, half the room hasn't responded. So most of you guys, am I hearing like half the room is like 5 or less hours of sleep a night? Is that what you guys like? Don't nod your heads. Like, cheers. Speak up. 5 hours.
Man.
Okay, I tell you what. They did some studies, right? 50% of college students actually average less than 7 hours of sleep a night. Like, that is honest to God truth. The studies have been replicated over and over and over again. The one I'm referencing, it was done by the National College Health Association. They actually do this on a regular basis. Those numbers really haven't changed all that much. About 50% of students, less than 7 hours of sleep a night. 33% reported difficulties staying asleep multiple days per week, right? So there's two problems, right? It's do I get enough sleep, like continuous hours, but then there's also do I stay asleep, right? So maybe I go to bed at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight, but then I'm up, 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep each night.
Yeah, I'm not going to cap. I'll wake up. I'm not going back to sleep. I don't know why.
I think for a lot of people that's really true. You wake up and then you have trouble getting back to sleep. Definitely some common sleep problems. About 45% when we did our last climate survey of DC students reported sleep problems that interfered with their academic goals, right? So it wasn't just that I'm not sleeping well, but they recognized me not sleeping well actually causes me some academic distress. So you guys had that where you kind of struggle with grades?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, honestly, like, not sleeping like the certain amount I need. Like, it sucks having to do assignments or finals. Bless you. It sucks, having to do all that. But honestly, it's just like it's manageable as long as you're willing to kind of lock in and kind of be like, okay, this is what I need to get done. I need to sleep. Get ready for it.
I get one night of bad sleep, I'm probably okay, right?
Yeah.
I start stringing 2, 3, 4 of those together. Now all of a sudden I've got some cognitive impairment. Those same studies show, and again, numbers have not changed all that much over the years. We're talking about, minimum night's sleep that you really need is about 7 hours of sleep is what you really should try to strive for. When you start getting, below that, you start getting into sleep deprivation. We were talking about this kind of off air just before the episode.
Yeah.
You were surprised. What happens if you don't sleep for 24
if y'all
hours?
stay up, like I've seen, I know some of y'all, and I know y'all stayed up all night. Y'all know if y'all stay up like 24 hours straight, it's like y'all being drunk. I didn't know that. So y'all out here like walking around drunk if y'all stay up all night, which is kind of weird.
It is a little bit weird to think about, but it's true. Right? It produces some level of cognitive impairment, right? If I stay up 24 hours straight. So the study, they likened it to having a blood alcohol level of 0.1%. Legally drunk too much or drunk driving is 0.08, right? So it's more than that if you stay up more than 24 hours. I don't know if that's entirely, I've seen people up 24 hours. Sometimes you can manage. I think the older we get, the harder that is. You kind of give me that face like, nah, I can do 24 hours, Nando.
Hell no, I can't do 24 hours.
I was like,
24
what?
hours, y'all ain't gonna see me the whole day.
24, yeah, I'm in bed the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I'm done for.
Done for.
All right. So, one of the things we talk about sleep, we talk about that duration and continuity, like how much sleep did I get and was it straight through the night, right? So if I get 8 hours sleep, but, it's actually I've been in bed for 12 hours and I'm up, that would be poor quality kind of sleep.
He was in the bed for 12 hours.
So we're going to tackle lots of different things. So what gets in the way of sleep, though? You guys already talked about it. What gets in the way of you guys sleeping well?
If it's not watching film, probably scrolling. I'll be
Scrolling on the phone?
Yeah, probably
I gotcha.
TikTok or Instagram, scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
You be sitting there 2 hours past, you're like, damn, I've been scrolling for a minute.
I think a lot of us have kind of had that experience where, why do we scroll? Like for some people, it's, gosh, I can't sleep, so I get on my phone and I start scrolling, and now all of a sudden, I'm even having more trouble sleeping. You guys had that problem?
Yes, for sure.
Somewhat.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask y'all, what do y'all think is something that kind of makes y'all struggle to sleep? Anybody got any? Depression? For sure.
Absolutely. Mood and anxiety. We're going to talk about that quite a bit. We know, depression is one of those things that at times it's this double-edged sword. I don't feel like I can get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed, but yet I can't sleep. Or sometimes I'm sleeping too much, but yet I'm still feeling so fatigued that I still don't want to get out of bed. It's one of the things we don't always want to talk about. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Anything else? Anybody want to, add in? Caffeine.
Caffeine, yes. That is a trap that I see a lot of college students get into, and adults, myself included.
You know what's crazy? I drink caffeine and I fall right to sleep. I can't. Caffeine does the opposite.
For some people.
Yeah, it does the opposite for me.
Normally, I see that a lot with folks that have ADHD and some other kind of conditions, right, where there's this paradoxical kind of thing where, the caffeine will actually put you to sleep.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. So we'll talk about some social media use, maybe how to use that a little bit differently. How about sleep and anxiety? Anybody have that as well? So you mentioned specifically depression. Anybody have that issue where, I go to bed and all of a sudden my brain is now thinking about all those things that maybe I didn't want to think about all day long, and I've kind of pushed to the back? It's a really common experience. And hopefully we'll get to spend a little bit more time talking about that. We'll talk about something called hypofrontality. I'm not sure if we'll get to all that yet today. But I do want to focus on, so what are some things, and probably spend the bulk of our time, how do I, environmentally, right? Because a lot of times when students come in, it's a new place, it's a new space for them, new environment, and we can do some things within that environment to kind of help make that sleep a little bit better. Real some basic kind of things. What are some things that, and there goes my phone. Sorry about that, guys. All right.
That's a dope ringtone, man.
I like that.
I freak out though. My dad has a rooster one, like them Puerto Rican roosters.
Bro,
That be
what?
like crazy.
All right, bro. I rollerblade, bro. What you got going on, bro?
Right.
So what are some things in your environment that you need that helps you sleep better, Nando? When you think about sleep environment.
I ain't gonna lie, this is low kind of bougie. I got earmuffs. I got earmuffs. Yeah. On
We're talking
some
about sleep environment. We're talking about, is it too loud, right? Do I need noise or do I need quiet? And everybody's built a little different. Some people like that white noise.
Yeah.
Some people I need dead silence.
Yeah, it's a 50-50. Like sometimes I want silence. So I got these black furry ones. Don't ask why they furry. My girl got it for me. But sometimes I like to hear the noise of the fan. Like some of y'all like that, like have the fan on while y'all sleep. It helps me sleep too. So those are two things I definitely need. Yeah, it sucks. I spent the night at my mom's crib. They had no fan. They don't believe in that. So it's like silent, like weird noise. And I'm like, all right, hell no, I can't do this no more.
So thinking about for you and how do you sleep best? Do you need quiet or do you need a little bit of noise? And what noise does it for you? And try to recreate that in that dorm room. So for you, it's a little bit more quiet and silence. So getting some of those noise canceling headphones. I encourage you to do that. How about you, Dee? Are you quiet or you need some noise going on?
It doesn't really matter. I just want it to be cold.
Oh, that's another one though. Is the temperature, right?
Yeah, if it's cold, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to sleep.
Okay, so you're a cold sleeper.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You got
ice
the AC
cold.
going, like even in the middle of winter.
Bro, it's like 50 in my
bundled
window up.
right now. It's cold as hell. I ain't gonna lie.
No, if
There's
I go
no
to your
wrong
room, you're
answer.
bundled up.
It's a matter of trying to figure out for yourselves. Like, what do I need? Do I need cold, hot? Here's where I see students get themselves in a bind, though, because now you got a roommate. All of a sudden, I'm sleeping with somebody that
No. All my roommates love it cold.
so you got
all
really
love it
lucky.
cold. Well,
Anybody got a roommate that you guys just have different sleep kind of needs? Like one likes it cold and noisy, and the other person likes it hot and quiet.
I like it cold. She likes it warm.
Right?
Oh, really?
Oh, that's crazy.
It-
How cool?
Right.
You don't be sweating in your sleep? That's crazy. That's crazy. I wake up sweating.
Yeah, I wish. I
I
can't.
wake up sweating.
Sweats.
So then it becomes like, so now we got to have some conversations. Like, how do we manage this as roommates? If we're going to hang together, if we're going to be roommates, we got to find some way. How do we come up with some solutions, right? And that's something that, oftentimes, the RA staff, that's something you probably help out with a lot, Nando, Miss Jen. We've helped out students in our office. Like, how do we just problem solve and come up with some simple solutions? Other things with environment that are important for you guys to sleep well?
I know some people that like to sleep with the TV on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, are there somebody in here that like to sleep with like a movie or like a cartoon? Yeah, my little brother does that. He likes to watch SpongeBob before he go to sleep. Mm-hmm. I can't blame him. It's kind of lit. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, bro. It depends on like what you watching. Like that shit it might get annoying. Like if you go to sleep watching like That's So Raven, I'm gonna get tired of hearing that come on every single time, bro.
That's something that more and more people have gotten into, whether it's listening to a podcast or watching TV, having something on. And it's not so much it's a little bit of kind of that white noise in the background, I think, more than anything, but it's also that sense of familiarity, right? It's what I do, and that's one of the things we know about our brains, too, is they get kind of wired. It's kind of like Pavlov and his dogs, if you guys have taken Psychology 101, right? I listen to the same thing or I watch the same movie over and over and over again, and all of a sudden my brain realizes, oh yeah, it's bedtime, and I start to drift off. It makes that sleep process a little bit easier. So it's not the worst thing in the world if you got, your favorite TV show that you just like to watch over and over and over again, to put that thing on. I always encourage you to find that thing that is familiar. Don't watch something that's maybe it's new and exciting, because that's gonna stimulate your brain and keep you up more, right? So if you've got a favorite TV show, maybe it's SpongeBob that you've watched a million times, Doesn't require any thought process. Not so bad.
Oh no, I'm more of a Norbit kind of guy. If y'all ever seen Norbit, it's one of my favorite movies all time. How you
Norbit?
doing? Yeah, that's my
You
favorite.
should-
Oh, is that Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Eddie Murphy
Lord, that's
movie.
old school.
I love that movie for the passion.
Norbit. Okay.
How
That helps you fall asleep?
Hell yeah.
All right, that makes sense, though.
I would never go to sleep
about,
through that. I would have to laugh. I'd be laughing the whole time. I'd be like, bro.
But yeah.
I do not know Norbit. Kind of along those same lines, right? Thinking about it, not just so much sleep environment, but what's my bedtime routine? Right? That is another kind of sleep hack that I always encourage students to think about. Try to do the same thing around the same time most every night. So maybe it's you watch your favorite show. Maybe it's you put on whatever you're going to sleep in. Maybe it's if I'm going to want to be in bed at midnight, maybe I start shutting it down about 11:30. I go brush my teeth. Whatever it is that you do, try to make that consistent just about every night. And again, it starts to program our brain that okay, it's getting close to bedtime. I start shutting down, and it makes that sleep process just a little bit easier for you. Other things kind of along that same line with kind of routine. How many of you guys ever fall into the trap, just because of the way the dorms are set up, that your bed is not just for sleeping? I use it and I watch TV in it, I hang out in it. Anybody fall into that trap? Like bed is kind of multi-purpose?
Yes.
Nick goes back there kind of raising his hand.
I feel like in college, your bed's always going to be multi-purpose because, where else do you be besides the bed in class?
Study in it, you hang out, watch TV. I encourage students as much as you can to maybe avoid that a little bit. Make bed my sleep place. Like that's where I sleep, and I try to avoid hanging out at other times in it. Again, it's just about establishing that routine. So my brain, like when I'm in bed, it realizes, oh, this is bedtime. This is the time when I'm on my phone, when I'm watching TV. This is actually bedtime, and it'll help you to get to sleep just a little bit easier. Make sense? All right. Kind of all over the place. How you started talking about caffeine, and for you, it works out pretty good.
No, with her.
Okay.
With me, it just makes me sleepy.
Right. For you, it makes you sleepier.
Oh, that's what you're talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I get
about you,
tired.
Dee? How much caffeine? What's the relationship with caffeine and sleep for you?
I don't know. I don't really drink caffeine, but
Not a caffeine person?
no, it's never made me stay up, though. I'll probably go to sleep right after, too.
See?
Okay.
It doesn't give me any energy.
You are a rarity. How much you know how much caffeine the average college student intakes?
How much?
About 400 to 500
You know what's-
milligrams.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
insane.
you know what's crazy?
Right.
Like, I started drinking a lot of coffee. Like, I need to stop, honestly. I like drinking black coffee. Sorry, it's a weird thing.
No, bro, you old.
Black coffee is good, man. You know,
he
black
old.
coffee. That's besides the point. I drink a lot of black coffee, and honestly, it does like the opposite for me.
Okay.
So it's like, ugh. But I heard it was stronger, too. So.
I don't necessarily know about that, but you do have to kind of pay attention of the kind of the coffee, and it's not just coffee. Tea has caffeine in it. There's lots of energy drinks that have some high amounts of caffeine. 400 to 500 milligrams is somewhere about that's the top end of kind of that daily recommended amount. If you start drinking more than that, it actually what caffeine does is it hides the fatigue, right? And that's why a lot of us will drink caffeine, especially at night if I've got to study or if I've got a big test coming up, something like that. Start drinking the caffeine, hides the fatigue by blocking those natural neurotransmitters that help us get to sleep. But eventually we're going to have that rebound and we crash. Anybody have that experience where I've drank caffeine early in the day and then at some point I just crash right out? Yep. So that's kind of what happens. But then there's the rebound. You ever have that? So I crash out, I get to sleep, and now all of a sudden it's 2, 3 in the morning and I'm awake again. Right? Again, because now my body's producing those neurotransmitters again, and you get that rebound effect. And the more caffeine that you start drinking, the more that you need, and it gets to be a real problem.
Yeah, caffeine gets to be like addictive, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, because then if I don't have it, now I get a headache. Start building tolerance to it.
Are you getting headaches yet, Nando?
Hell no.
No headaches for you yet.
Nah.
Right. So half-life of caffeine is about 5 hours. So and one of the problems I see students really get into is some of those energy drinks. Any of you guys do like the Monsters, the Rock Stars, things like that? Daily recommended dose is somewhere around about that 300 to 400 milligrams per day. Some of those can actually have, those energy drinks. You got to watch out because they can have easily the 400 milligrams just in one of those. And I've seen people doing 3, 4 of those per day, and that gets to be really, really, really concerning. When you're doing that much. It can cause heart palpitations. It is a dangerous kind of game. to get into. So really thinking about caffeine, how much am I using, and maybe when am I using? Like, do I need to think about if I want to get some sleep at night, we need to stop using probably somewhere around noonish or so. All right. So other things that you can do to help improve sleep. How do you, when you get students, what do you tell them, Nando or Dee? You're the RA.
I say read a book.
Read a book?
Yeah, it mentally like tires you. Like if you're like processing what it's saying, like reading and getting into the story, getting into that, like it might be good, but also like it gets you mentally tired after a while. I say just read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reading is one of those really good things to do. I encourage students to do that.
Also, don't read on the phone. Like I know a lot of people be like, oh, I'll just read off my like little tablet or something like that. That's like counterintuitive.
Why is that a problem?
Because like the lights from the phone, it's like actually sends.
There's some great research about the blue lights from the phone, that background, and what that does and how it stimulates different regions of your brain that actually keep you awake. So I do encourage you, if you're going to read, to maybe try to not read on your phone, or if you do, use the black or the blue light filter. That can be really helpful. When you're going to read, other tips, right? Maybe it's just like watching a TV show. Maybe don't read something that is going to be really stimulating or something new, but maybe try to find something familiar, right? Something that you know is going to kind of help ramp you down a little bit.
Another thing I say is like I always do this, like especially if I need like actual sleep, I always get off my phone or off like any type of electronics like an hour, like 30 minutes beforehand. It actually helps me out a lot. It might help out some of you guys if you guys want to give it a shot. But that's what I always say as well, like maybe get off your electronics or anything that will like actually keep you awake, maybe like an hour, like 30 minutes beforehand.
Gotcha. We were going to talk about that. That is another really good kind of tip, is shutting down electronics if you can a little bit ahead of time. Especially, if you want to listen to something, I think that's a little different than it is watching it on your phone. Again, a lot of it has to do with that blue light that kind of comes through and stimulates different regions of your brain. It's a really good kind of life hack there. Kind of back to the reading, one of the things that I think I've found really helpful is if I'm going to read, I don't want to read for 20, 30 minutes. Maybe think about reading, a small packet or small passage, and then, reflect on it for, 5, 10 minutes. And sometimes that can be really helpful as well, because if I'm reading too long, then again, I've stimulated my brain. I'm more awake than I was before. So if I just read, if I got to read, maybe read something really simple and then kind of think about it, and it helps you put you to sleep a little bit better. All right, one of the things we haven't talked about that's really important, sleep aids. And I've heard some people sometimes like to use alcohol and other drugs as sleep aids. Oh. That doesn't ever happen in the res halls, does it? Like, in particular, weed?
If we're being for real, hell no, it does happen all the time.
Right, we can be honest.
There ain't no shame. Look, at the end of the day, like, I know some of y'all smoke, I know some of y'all drink. It ain't no shame. It's just we don't encourage it. It's not always going to be a good thing. But I know some of y'all do it. I know some of y'all don't. It's just more of like where y'all from, honestly. But honestly, we just don't. It's not something that you should do. It's not gonna be good for you.
All the time. But all the research, all the studies that I have seen when it comes to alcohol, marijuana, other drugs, and we talk about using them as a sleep aid, not a great idea. The efficacy of it, right? How well they work doesn't bear out. Honestly, right? So here's the thing. It's a complicated relationship, really, with both of them. And we don't have time to really go into all the neuroscience behind it. But, the myth has kind of sprung up. How are we doing on time, Nando?
Oh, no.
No. Okay, no clock up there? All right. We got 20 minutes yet?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So they sort of work, right? That there's a reason people think about, gosh, maybe I could use alcohol and marijuana and it will help me get to sleep, because what do? Both of them act primarily on that prefrontal cortex. It's actually going to put they're central nerve depressants. It's going to shut that down, and you will kind of get a little bit more sleepy at some point, especially if you take enough of it, right? So I'm not going to lie and say, on some level, it may help you get to sleep initially, right? But here's where it gets complicated. It's a little bit like we talked about caffeine and kind of having a little bit of a paradoxical effect, right? Eventually, that's going to wear off. And most of the time, what we're end up doing when we're using alcohol, marijuana as a sleep aid, I'm using it to mask something else. And most of the time, I'm using it to mask depression, anxiety. There's something else that I don't want to deal with. And now all of a sudden, it's 2, 3 in the morning, and the alcohol's worn off enough, or the marijuana's worn off enough, and now I'm awake. I'm awake, I'm a little bit buzzed, my prefrontal cortex is shut down, so now it's actually going to heighten some of that anxious response. If I was stressed out about my test before, but at least I had my prefrontal cortex, I could kind of moderate some of those anxiety-provoking thoughts. Well, now all of a sudden, I'm awake, that part of my brain is shut down a little bit because the marijuana or the alcohol has done what it was supposed to do. And all of a sudden, that test that I was freaking out with a little bit before, now all of a sudden, I am freaking out a whole lot about that test. Does that make sense? So, what they end up becoming is masks, and they're not healthy. The other part is, again, just like with caffeine, you start to develop tolerance. And one of the things we know, too, is the more that you actually use those in higher dosages, actually the worse it makes sleep. Right now you become kind of chronic insomnia. So I always try to avoid those as sleep aids. Don't do it. If you're having, some really struggling with some issues when it comes to sleep, please come see one of us. There's Jessica Flores over in the Counseling Center, myself. There's things that we can do to kind of help you to manage maybe some of those underlying causes that, are really what's going on and help you get a better night's sleep long term. All right, so we got about 15, 20 minutes left. Let's take some questions from you guys. What do you want to know about sleep? Questions that you guys might have. Don't go quiet on me, guys. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on napping? Is it actually a good supplement?
Oh, napping is a great question, right? The question was, what are our thoughts on napping? You ready to talk about this one, Nando?
Yeah, I love me a good nap. Ooh, hey. Honestly, if it's controlled, it's kind of weird
There you
to
go.
think of it, because sometimes a nap is a nap. Like, you take a nap wherever you want to take a nap. Honestly, I have a scheduled nap. Like, it's kind of like I said,
God,
I'm an
you have a
old
scheduled
person.
nap,
Yeah, I got
yeah.
scheduled naps. Like last semester, I knew, after this class, I got maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours of just a little
Yep.
break before my next
Yes, I'm
class.
going to sleep.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna take me that
Going to
nap.
sleep.
You know what I mean?
Playing to
But
bed.
also at the same time, it's just knowing when to and when not to. Like, when is a good time and when it's not to.
Right. So when is not a good time for you? Because I think you're right on the money.
Yeah.
I'm not a no to nap person, but I do think you got to kind of look at some general guidelines, right? How long should I take a nap, and maybe when should I take that nap? So what's the guidelines for you?
For me, if I have a 2-hour kind of break before I go to class, I like to take maybe an hour 25, maybe hour 15 nap.
Okay.
I think that's enough. You know what I mean? Also, I heard this is the same thing for athletes. If you guys are any athletes in your room, it's okay to take a nap before a game or take a nap before anything else.
Yep.
A solid 30-minute nap, 40-minute nap. It's a power nap. It's gonna rejuvenate you, keep you up more. But yeah, it's just be knowledgeable. Okay, it takes me this long to wake up. Let me wake up before then, so I can be able to pay attention in class and be able to be attentive and be on top of my things.
Okay. I would say general good rule of thumb, naps no more than an hour in length, right? If you start doing more than an hour for a nap, it can start to goof up your sleep cycle later on in the day. So no more than an hour in length. And normally a good rule of thumb too is not after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if I want to take a nap, think about earlier in the day and not more than an hour. How about you, Didi? What do you think about naps?
I like to nap. I'll really only nap before football practice, to be honest with you.
Napping before practice?
After class, I'm going straight to sleep.
Give you that burst of energy.
Yes.
All right, I got you. Great question. Other questions you guys have about sleep? How to get some sleep, maybe some things that have worked or things that really don't work for you guys?
What really works for me is when I'm taking a shower, I like to do it even I'm not used to being up north, so
Yeah.
before lunch I go in the showers at 6, eat, then come back, and I'm already tired because I like to what I used to do in Cincinnati. When I get out of school, I do my work, then I get ready for bed early, put my phone away, and I try to think of stuff that puts me up, motivates me.
Yep.
Or doing anything like that. Putting yourself in a good mindset before you sleep can really help.
I think that's a great idea. Absolutely.
Really, it's what really keeps me up is all the negative thoughts about life and stuff in general. So I like
Yep.
to keep myself positive and try to do that. I love the cold. It's a problem because my parents even told me, in Cincinnati, there was a blizzard, I had my window up.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That bad. Cause,
Yeah.
next day I had to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting a fever. They were like, "What did you like?" They know my teacher know for a fact. I like being cold, so he guessed that during the blizzard I had my fan in the window.
Yeah.
Which I ain't gonna lie, that was on accident.
You had the fan on the window while it was blizzard.
But to be fair, that was.
Ah.
I'm about to say, bro, that's crazy.
I was already asleep. I didn't know the blizzard was gonna come.
So you,
I had to go.
I know that's he had that sleep. That sleep
Oh
was
man,
good.
bro, I know
wasn't
his sleep was good, boy. I know he was in there sleeping good.
it? Shit, I
you
know
found a
that's
couple
right.
life hacks, right? You take the shower, right? That thing that calms me down, that routine that helps me get to sleep, but also using, some of those positive thoughts, to help you get to sleep instead of some of, to combat some of those negative cognitive distortions that you might have. Absolutely. Other things about sleep, questions that maybe you've always been wanting to know, but have been a little too afraid to ask? Yeah, in the back. Melatonin? That's a really common question that I get. It kind of goes back to some sleep aids. It's a pretty mild one. I'm not a huge melatonin person, personally. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. It's not COVID. I've tested. I feel like Sheldon. I'm not crazy. I've been tested. No, melatonin. Give it a try, right? For some students, if I'm struggling and maybe I've gone through, a couple of days where I'm not sleeping well, I don't think there's anything wrong with giving that a try for a day or two to see if maybe that helps me. For some students, they do really well with it short term, right? I've heard sometimes it can give them some kind of whacked out lucid dreams, but for the most part, short term.
What? They got
okay.
laced? They sound laced to me.
No. It is a reaction that you can
Hell,
have.
I had some laced melatonin. Like,
God,
I'd be
bro,
scared.
What? That does not happen
It's
to
like
me.
anything else, though. If I'm using it to mask a larger issue, that's a problem, and it's not going to work very well. So short term, if my schedule gets disrupted and I need something to kind of get me back on track, hey, let's give it a try. Long term, though, probably not very effective is kind of what I've seen.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen a lot of people take, melatonin and be okay at first, but after a while, if you just keep taking it every night, you're gonna get used to it. Your body's gonna be like, okay, this is regular, so you're not gonna feel as much. And you're gonna start trying to up the dosage.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And again, if I'm doing it long term, I'm probably masking something else that we probably need to start working on. Whether it's a depression, anxiety, kind of mental emotional issue, or sometimes there can be a medical basis that we really want to look at as well.
Honestly, it's a good thing. Just know when to take a break. That's the only thing with it.
Yep. Answer your question?
You had a question.
Yeah, it's not so much a question, but I noticed the biggest thing with me, not so much with sleep, but when I wake up, make sure I wake up the first time I get up, not the second time where you're restarting your cycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Still suck at it, bro.
No, I have 20, 40 alarms,
Bro,
5
I've
minute
snoozed
intervals.
3 times this morning.
Because I just know myself. I just know I was that first one, I'm going back to sleep.
I'm snooze.
How many of you guys have more than one alarm?
Thank you. See?
You guys drive me nuts. Why do you do that?
Because you're gonna snooze.
Yeah,
I know.
Not another alarm.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's
I
gone.
snooze stuff. Yeah.
No. I would challenge that. My theory is, and I need to do some research on this. No, the more alarms you have, yeah, you're right. You're going to snooze the first one because I know I've got number 2, number 3, number 40 coming online. If I don't have number 40 as my backup plan, I'm probably getting up at number 1 because now I know I got to get up number 1.
No, it
Doesn't happen.
I'd be feeling real good after that first snooze and be I'll wake up the next time. Okay, now I gotta get up. It'll be good.
it depends on how much sleep I got prior. I'd be snooze a couple times.
All right.
Snooze a couple times.
I can get
couple
down with
times,
maybe 2,
maybe
3,
4 or 5
4
times.
alarms, but 40, Nando.
I'm gonna be real.
Yes.
I'm gonna be 100%
Yes, bro.
real with you. I suck at waking up.
Yeah,
I'm a
bro.
grumpy person when I wake up. I'd be move, man. I don't want to.
Bro, football in the morning, I'd be
Dog, I'd be mad. Who
struggling.
wants to wake up at
That is a
5 to go
whole
lift?
separate
And
sleep
the coach Nick will
issue.
be playing heavy metal. I'd be like, bro, what?
Heavy metal 6 o'clock in the morning.
Bro, oh God, it's 6 o'clock. You talking about playing Metallica? I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you?
Not a metallic at 6 in the morning person.
Slipknot.
huh?
Yeah, no, bro. Yes,
Slipknot.
I was lift that way. I'm like, bro, lift what?
It's like,
I'm not lifting that.
That is a really good question. And if, like Nando's, if you are having trouble waking up in the morning, that can be a sign of something else, right? It's a totally different sleep problem. Oftentimes we think about sleep problems, it's I'm not getting up enough or I'm not getting enough sleep, but that trouble of getting out of sleep can be just as big of a barrier. So definitely something, if it's an ongoing problem, come see us, something we might want to take a look at.
oh no.
Sometimes it might not even be a sleeping problem, though. It could be iron level.
Yep.
It could be all sorts of things.
There are many things that can cause it. Absolutely.
You want me to be real with you? You probably want to know like the real reason why I wake up so like, we have like 40 alarms and it takes me a while.
All right, let's be real.
I have like an internal clock at 12, like midnight. So like even though I sleep early, like every time without fail, I wake up at 12 just to eat a bowl of cereal.
Okay. How long take you to get back to sleep after that?
Oh, not too long. It's
Okay.
just I need that craving of cereal in the morning, like in midnight.
That's
You
the
say
Raisin
12?
Bran.
Do you say Raisin Bran at 12 o'clock at night?
No, not just Raisin Bran. It can also be like cornflakes with like the dried strawberries. Oh,
No.
that's like, ooh, that's gas.
Special K?
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow. This nigga's old.
Gotta love this. You know,
Oh, God.
you know what's
No,
crazy? Like I
oh.
like on no funny stuff. Like this used to be my cereal tradition. This was like back in high school. I used to wake up at 12 every day. My mom used to do this with me, so it's like this is not a me thing only. I used to wake up. You know the Rice Krispie cereal, like that looks like grains and stuff like that. So I used to get that. You know, put like regular milk. I put coffee creamer in there, the hazelnut one. Put a little bit of that in there, coconut shavings, and a little bit of sugar. Change your life. I swear to God.
Bro,
I don't even know how to
Bro,
respond
what?
to
don't
that,
want Cinnamon
Nando.
Toast
no,
Crunch.
bro. How do you even find that you like that?
Huh?
How do you even figure out that you like that, bro?
Like how did I figure it out?
yeah, like what are you even doing to be like, yeah, this gonna hit right here?
My abuela. my abuela
right.
put me on.
Guys, we got to wrap it up. It has been wonderful having you on a live edition of the Weekly Buzz. We will see you guys next week. Make sure you tune in and follow us on YouTube or Spotify. Have a great week, everybody. Be well.
My God.